my friend Michael and his father Michael and Carol. So they are honoring us with the Sauda immediately after Shachrit. And thank you for everybody to be here, those who came, we have the Minyan, Selichot, beautiful, look forward to Selichot, and every Sunday we do that in the morning very early at 6 o'clock. Now, we just finished talking about Netilat Yadayim, Melchot Netilat Yadayim, which is, it took a couple of weeks, and we just covered at least what we need for ourselves. And now, immediately, what happened in Netilat Yadayim? Netilat Yadayim is Sauda, to do a Sauda. Sauda is, the most important thing in the Sauda is bread. Okay, that's what we have. That's what you wash your hand for. Now we're going to talk about the bread. Because the bread, we are going to talk, the Torah says, when you talk about bread, he said, the Pasuk is, Reshit Arisotechem Teruma, Reshit Arisotechem Challa Tarimu, Teruma, it's a Kitrumat Goren Ken Tarimota. That means that in the first yield that you have from your dough, you have to take a Teruma, a portion, to the Kohanim. And the Torah said in the same way that you give Maaser of all those produce that we have for the 7 species that we have, you give Maaser, whether if it is olives, whether it is grapes, you give Maaser. You have to give now for this, not Maaser, but Chala, a little portion of it. And this is an obligation that the Torah gives us. So there is also an obligation to set aside a portion of any dough one makes. Okay? And this mitzvah applies both in Eretz Israel and Chutz La'aretz, even though all the others, Maaser, is only in Eretz Israel. Nevertheless, this is everywhere. Now, when is this done? Okay, the mitzvah applies when one prepares the dough for baking. And that means baking purpose such as bread, cakes, cookies, and the like. At which time you must separate a small amount from the challah from that dough. And what kind, how do you separate challah from what kind of dough you separate challah? I'm not talking about potato flour. You don't separate challah from there, but we have to see from those 5 grains that are considered in the category to make bread. And what are they? Then the chita, se'ora, kusemet, shibole shual, veshifon. Those are the 5, which is, it's wheat, and also barley, and spelt, and also rye. Before that is also spelt, and oat and rye. So all those 5, if you make a dough and you're going out of the dough, you're going to make cookie, because you're going to make bread, that's where there is a mitzvah to take a challah. And how do you separate the challah? You take a little bit from it, and before that, the way that you have to say a baracha for it, because it's a mitzvah from the Torah. So therefore we say, Asher kideshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'afrish chala teruma. That's what we do. That's a nosach of us Sephardim, Hedot HaMidrash, everywhere. The only thing is we kind of copy the Ashkenazi way of saying the baracha. We say le'afrish chala min ha'esa. That is, a different, but doesn't matter. Now, what do you do, when you separate challah? The mitzvah of separating challah is really in the time when there was the Beit HaMikdash and people were in Kedusha. That means that people were able to go to the Beit HaMikdash. And only that when you have the Efer Apara, you had the waters and the mixture that you have from the Efer, you understand, to purify people, then you used to give it to the Kohen. And that they used to go and eat it. That was part of the terumot that you give the Kohanim. That was challah. Today, because through touching dead bodies, whatever it is, somehow all of us, we we are tameh, we are not purified in this case. What do you do with the challa? With the challa, you just burn it. And therefore, that's the only situation that happens. What happens if you are a situation you cannot burn it? Just put it in a plastic bag and discard it to go in the trash. And that's the way of the mitzvah of challah. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but meantime, this is it.